You know, when we talk about AI, a couple of big names always seem to steal the show. But what if a powerful new contender, backed by none other than Google, just stepped into the ring? Well, today, we're going to dig into that. We're talking about Google's Gemma 4.
So here's the big question, right? Could we finally have a powerful, free, and truly open alternative to giants like ChatGPT and Claude? The promise of Gemma is that the answer is a big yes, and that, well, that could change everything.
And look, we're not talking about some small startup here. This challenger is from Google, a company that's been in the AI research game for decades. With Gemma, they have officially thrown their hat into the open source ring.
All right, so to really get what's going on here, we've got to break down this new challenger. Let's ask the simple question. What in the world is Google's Gemma 4?
Okay, so at its heart, Gemma is what they call a family of lightweight open models. But here's the kicker. It's built using the exact same research and tech as their huge, top-of-the-line Gemini models. It's kind of like getting a Formula One engine, but in a car you can actually pop the hood on and tinker with yourself.
Now, I just said that word open, and honestly, that's the real story here. So let's get crystal clear on what an open model actually is, because this one little detail, it could completely shake up the entire AI landscape.
So this really lays out the two different worlds we're living in. On one side, you have the open models, like Gemma. Think of it like open source software, you know? The blueprint, the source code is public. It's free for developers and researchers, which means everybody can collaborate and see how it works. And then on the other side, you've got the closed models, like ChatGPT. These are basically proprietary black boxes. One company holds all the keys, controls everything, and yeah, usually puts it behind a subscription. It's a real clash of philosophies.
Okay, so we've got the philosophy down. Now let's get practical. How does Gemma 4 actually stack up when you put it head-to-head with the big guys?
Yeah, this table really tells the whole story, doesn't it? I mean, look at model access and cost. That's the first thing you see. Open and free versus closed and pay-to-play. But the really interesting part here is the primary focus. See, ChatGPT is for pretty much everyone. Claude is aimed more at big companies with complex problems. But Gemma? Gemma is for the builders, the developers, the researchers. And that right there leads us straight to that last row, customization. Gemma is built from the ground up to be tinkered with, to be customized for super specific, new and creative tasks.
All right, that's enough of the theory. Let's talk about actually putting Gemma to work. So how does someone go from this idea of an open model to, a real thing you can use?
This is where the power of open really shines. Step 1, a developer can literally just download Gemma and run it on their own machine. We're talking no subscriptions, no waiting for API keys. Step 2, though, this is where the magic happens. Fine-tuning. This means you can train it to do something super specific. Want an AI that writes poetry just like Shakespeare? You can do that. Or maybe one that's an expert on ancient Roman history. Or hey, one that can even learn your unique writing style to help you draft emails. Wild, right? And then you get to step 3, deployment. You take that unique, one-of-a-kind AI you just built, and you can put it into a brand new app or service for anyone to use.
So what does this actually mean for, say, a student or a developer? What can you do with this? Well, it means you could build a totally custom chatbot for a niche hobby you're into. Or you could create a tool that helps you instantly summarize those super dense research papers for a class. Or maybe you just want to get your hands dirty and finally understand how these massive AI brains actually work, from the inside out. It's basically a sandbox for innovation.
Okay, so let's pull back a bit for our final section here. Let's look at the road ahead. What are the possibilities? What are the risks? And what does the future of OpenAI even look like with models like Gemma in the mix?
You know, the optimistic view is, honestly, it's pretty thrilling. We could be looking at this huge wave of AI innovation, not just from a few big companies, but from a whole global community of creators. Think about it. More personalized, super specialized AI tools, more transparency in how this stuff is actually built. It totally lowers the barrier for startups to get in the game. It's like the democratization of AI, for real. But we have to be real about the challenges too. When there's no single gatekeeper, the potential for misuse definitely goes up. I mean, how do you make sure everyone is developing this stuff responsibly and safely when it's so decentralized? And then there's the big question. Can a grassroots movement really compete with the insane amount of money and resources the big guys are pouring into their closed models? These are some serious hurdles to overcome. So, when you boil it all down, the whole debate really comes down to this one crucial trade-off. It's control versus freedom.
The closed models give you a ton of control and, built-in safety measures, but you have no idea what's going on inside. They're a black box. The open models, they give you incredible freedom and spark innovation, but they also come with bigger risks, and there is no easy answer for which way is better.
And that leaves us with the one final massive question. Will open models like Gemma be the thing that defines the next era of artificial intelligence? Or are the controlled walled gardens built by the tech giants just too powerful to overcome? The race is officially on. And you know what? For the first time in a little while, the outcome is anything but certain.